Neeb should be able to take a game, I would imagine. So we will get to see what he has in store for us on Acolyte.
Man, that's
so much for all the hype.
Wow. Are you guys taking notes?
You've sold this one to me, Tasteless.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Interview answer from these guys. Like, guys, no matter what, there's a chance you can take a map.
I believe that we are good to go.
It's time to start our match. In the bottom right, in the blue, from the USA, he is
Neeb. The last 4 in hope in this tournament. It does look very good and feels very good about protoss versus Terran, and has been doing quite well in the matchup. But this man is not to be underestimated. One of the absolute best Terran players in the world. Had a fantastic year so far, but he always wants more. It is
Splice TY.
Neeb's a really interesting player to cast as far as the non-Koreans go, because he does seem to have a very different attitude. Like, he just really understands the game. I don't feel like he really overthinks any aspect of the tournament. I think that's why we saw him do well in the Caspa Cup. It doesn't mean that the game doesn't mean a lot to him, but he just seems to be very comfortable doing exactly what he knows, where I think we have other players where we can say, oh, they're very good on ladder or maybe in some tournaments overseas, but when they come to Korea, they get a little bit overwhelmed, they lock up. I don't feel like we've seen that very much with Neeb. He's had a lot of success so far.
Absolutely. I also think that Neeb truly takes this one round at a time. There's no way he's right now thinking, like, if I advance, I play against Sue or Doug. Like, no. You don't do that, because you're going to play against TY. Now, earlier this year, these two actually played against each other in an offline event. They played
in store for us here. Neeb, even though these guys definitely have, as far as record goes, it's been TY that's been a little bit more dominant. I don't know how much of a factor that is right here, right now. Neeb strikes me as a player who has not managed to reach his peak potential yet. We're still seeing him power up, so to speak. And this is going to be a great moment to see if we are finally there.
I agree. I mean, he played sick yesterday, and apparently he even told, I think it was Juanito as well, and I think he told No Regret, that even he thought he played very well. And apparently that's not something you hear very, very often of Neeb, because Neeb can win Caspa Cup and still be upset about the performance in some of the games. But with the way he played yesterday against SOS, even he thought it was good, and well, Neeb, it was. We all thought it was very, very good. So hopefully he's feeling great, because you need to feel great if you're going into a best of 5 against this Terran player. Yeah, and lifetime record is 5-0 in favor of TY, a 2-0 and a 3-0. But I agree with you, Tasteless. This is a different Neeb, different animal, different day. Forget about those old games.
I think we have to, and I think he has to as well. Now the first Oracle's coming in here. He does snipe the SCV, looping around here, outmaneuvering.
Oh
my God!
Where did that come from?
I actually didn't see that mine initially at all. Nicely done there by TY. Well placed.
Yes. This does scare me a little bit, though, Tasteless, because I've seen this in the past of Neeb, where he can play fantastic for a couple of rounds, and then once things start falling apart, it suddenly goes downhill very, very quickly. And this is not the way you want to start up your best of 5. You don't want to fly an Oracle into a mine.
Oh, he's got to be careful.
I think he saw it.
He pulls away. TY is very good at setting up the position for these mines. You notice with the last one, the Vikings over there on the side, so what happens is, that was not a great tag. I don't believe he tagged a single unit. Only the
Definitely
structures.
got the depot.
Yeah, I got the depot and the add-on and the barracks. But you saw that, the Viking over there on the left, when it does hit the Oracle, it then ends up driving the Oracle into the mine itself. And the moment that took it out, the mine took out the Oracle, he immediately scrambles, TY does, and tries to set up in a new position to possibly punish Neeb again.
I already see the first tank being produced by TY. Once again, Abysso is just kind of the king of these early 2-base pushes that we see from so many Terrans, where they might get a bunker, they might get a missile turret at the bottom of the natural. Obviously, you can go for the third base as well, but the bottom of the natural. Stalkers are gonna come. He's gonna wait, maybe, I think he wants to wait for Blink, see if he could actually get the medevac with the tank. This is risky though, TY, you're playing with fire. One of these medevacs does get out, and the other one, oh, there's a Widowmine drop in the main, and I believe in the third base as well,
yeah,
so that's well done.
10 probes killed there. It's funny, we've had a couple of games like this, especially the GSL versus the World, where it looks like an attack is being fed up, but workers are dying all over the place! 3 more killed.
Tasteless. I was scared there.
Roddy, this is... Well, you know, it's funny. It goes to show you how good the multitasking is for TY, that our own observer is actually having a hard time keeping up. We're even finding out as casters after the fact how much damage Neeb has taken.
Yeah, this was really sick because I loved everything that Neeb did. I love how he bought time with the Stalkers. I love the stasis. I love cutting up the reinforcements. And I feel like, oh my god, Neeb is in a fantastic position. And then suddenly he's losing 10 probes. He's losing mining time. And TY is already getting ready for additional pushes. Incredibly well played by TY. This is sick how good he is.
Okay, so far TY is continuing to chisel away at the economy, at the defenses here of Neeb, and it's getting tough. I mean, Neeb, I don't know if he can get back on 2 feet just yet, especially with these tanks coming in here. And the moment that the Stalkers get in position, Neeb, rather TY escapes. Already TY about to set up a third base, and as far as workers go, Neeb's still up 65 to 59, but how much more time has been spent just remaking workers versus attempting to do any damage to his opponent.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, the robos were a tiny bit late. I think later than Neeb would have liked it to be. He's remaking an Oracle, which gives me the idea that maybe he lost the other Oracle as well. He does have double robo, and he has the robo base, so we can start seeing a couple of Colossus being added on. But, I mean, it's not bad for Neeb. I was just very, very impressed with how well TY was able to get out of a very, very bad scenario where I thought he was in a world of trouble. Instead, it's actually a pretty even game.
Okay. The Stalkers, Immortals, Sentries, Adepts all beginning to group up. Protoss has to get a more sophisticated army before they can really engage anything the Terran has. I think with 1-1, based off the damage that's been done earlier, TY might be hungry to try to poke out again, maybe shut down this fourth base that just now started up. We also saw a Liberator that was headed southbound, probably to go over there and try to start harassing that natural. I gotta say, TY is really not giving Neeb a break.
Nope, I mean, he's going to try to pull the units out of position, and I think you make a very important case there, Tasteless, that fourth base. If Neeb can get the fourth base up and running with the double robo, the forges that he has, then it's going to be really good. But I don't think that TY is just going to give him that fourth base. He's going to try to pull him apart a little bit with Liberators, maybe with another mine drop somewhere, and then suddenly he's going to make a very powerful push on this fourth base.
And with the momentum that TY has here, he's also expanding again. So just shutting down the base for Neeb, he doesn't actually have to push further than this. He can back up, then try to max out. Possibly even going for the kill. Let's see if Neeb is ready. He does have Colossi, but Thermal Lance not yet finished.
Don't forget, he's very, very heavy on the Stalkers as well. Good pylon there, actually, in range of this Liberator. He's going to be able to shut that Lib down. But it's still a very, very Stalker-heavy army, which is great against Vikings and stuff. But there's a lot of Marauders. There's a couple of tanks in the mix as well. And with only one Immortal there, I think Neeb is going to have a hard time engaging this army of TY.
Okay, the pressure's on. All Terran really needs to do is wipe out this Nexus and the economic momentum from TY might be too much for Neeb to stop this game. The setup is happening, the Liberators coming in. Stalkers can't have a proper engage now. Way too many Marines and Marauders, as well as Siege Tank and Siege Mode on the low ground. Adepts are going to shade in, but is this a scout, a feint, or is he actually going to commit? He backs off.
I mean, the longer you wait, I also feel the harder it's going to become. There's multiple missile turrets now in the mix as well. That's going to potentially mess a little bit with the Colossus, with Adepts as well. These Stalkers are going to have a very hard time.
Okay.
Neeb, you're eating a lot of shots.
Huge mistake back there. Unable to control his army correctly. Neeb in a desperate moment right now, trying to do something, anything, but everywhere we look, things are falling apart on the map.
Yeah, he still has a powerful army. He's getting Storm. He's getting 2 more Immortals. Maybe Neeb should just sacrifice his base. Big run by in the natural, though.
Taking out these pylons. The Robo's unpowered. No more Immortals in Colossi for the time being, as Neeb does pull back over here. We might see another attack over at the Nexus. Here it is now.
I mean, a couple of Vikings are going to take down one of these Colossus. Stalkers are good, but there needs to be more than just a few Stalkers. And these tanks in the back army, this is the biggest problem. I love the way that TY has been playing this. Neeb is doing a good job in somehow staying alive, but this push, Tasteless, is coming closer and closer. It's a little too close to come.
I think we may be close to a KO here. It's very difficult for Neeb to try to recuperate. Not just was that expansion taken out, but Robo production was halted. Storm is finishing after the mission accomplished. Whatever you know what I'm trying to say. TY got the job done. Storm doesn't help anymore. He needs a 4th base. He needs those gases.
I mean, Neeb still has an army, right? As long as you have a decent army with a couple of Colossus, Immortals in the mix as well, it's very good against this heavy Marauder count. Forward blink there. I think he tried to get one of these Liberators, but he didn't get it.
Let's see if he can get the Storm off here. He's going to try to edge in. I think, though, TY might just spread out.
A couple of decent Storms there, connecting with a few of these Marauders. A lot of Stalkers going down. Those Stalkers ain't cheap. He's warping in 5 more. I love this very Immortal heavy army almost, because these Vikings are going to be a little bit useless. These Marauders are going to have a hard time fighting the Immortals. The biggest problem is the Liberators, though. But Neeb has done a very good job in getting a couple of those Liberators, picked up.
I have to say, the Immortals are going to make it tougher to push up the ramp, but it also is not going to make it any easier to push down. And while this has been going on, this attention over here at the Natural, Neeb is double expanded, scrambling to try to get back into this. I think doing a more impressive job than most of the players we've seen, but isn't going to be enough. He's not mining from it just yet, and pressure is truly mounting over here at the Natural.
These Liberators are getting so many shots off on this army on the north side. This was a very, very awkward, bad fight for Neeb. The Colossus went down. I think these Immortals are going to go down as well. And Tasteless, it's time for you to do what you do better than anyone.
It's time for my favorite letter in the world, GG!
I love it. Well done. Awesome first game there.
They got to bring me on Sesame Street, Roddy. Teach these kids about the letter G. Look, I feel bad for Neeb, but that is a tough map. I think TY did a really, really good job. He poked in, and it's tough to hold that 4th base. I think that we saw Neeb struggle a little bit with controlling his Stalkers.
Yeah, it's just so difficult, right? When there's Marauders in the mix, there are tanks far back, and these Liberators are getting closer. It's like you have to push the Liberators back, but every time you go in, the tanks will shoot at your Stalkers. So I don't think Neeb played poorly. I don't think Neeb got owned or something. I don't think he has to feel incredibly worried, because he didn't have the best start, losing the Oracle and stuff. Just well done by TY. And one thing, Tasteless, my favorite moment of this game is like the early game push, right? Neeb made it look easy against the Marines and those 2 tanks. I was like, oh my god, he's handling this so well. And then suddenly it's like TY wouldn't be TY if he didn't have a plan B during all of this. Kills 10 probes, he's like, yeah, you got my Marines, but I've got your probes, so this is still all good. And then he still keeps those tanks alive, he starts dropping, starts sieging up. You gotta love the way that that man plays StarCraft.
Do not give up on Neeb yet. He could still come back. You must believe in him.
I am a believer. I have always been.
A believer. We're all just a couple of believers at the end of the day. In the upper right, in the blue, our Protoss player from America. He is
Ting Neeb.
On the left bottom side of this relatively new map, haven't seen that many games on it yet. It's called Mac Depot, Artos' favorite map in the world. Our Korean Terran, it is.
Splice TY.
Wow, the bias. I didn't hear any Neeb fighting, but I hear TY fighting in the studio. It's almost like we're in Korea, Tasteless.
I know, right? Well, let's see what Neeb tries to do here. This map is different. We're gonna have to see on some level what the builds are gonna be before we can really dictate how this is going to look. But
CC first.
Abyssal, yeah, this is pretty cool. Abyssal is a map that it's got enough valleys in it that it can be pretty tough when Terran gets tanks and Liberators set up with enough meat underneath it with Marines and Marauders. It's tricky. All right, we have some Neeb support here.
I believe in the shank. Explain this to me, Teslas. What is the shank?
Sure. I believe that's where you sharpen a broken toothbrush and stab somebody in prison. A shank, right? Isn't that what a shank is? It's like a.
But why does he believe, and what does Neeb have to do with this?
I don't know.
All right. Well, one thing we didn't see at all in Abyssal, and I'm pretty damn sure that we are going to see it on MacDepot, was a Warp Prism. Now, obviously, some people say you always need a Warp Prism. That's a lot easier said than done, I think. There are some moments where if your opponent is applying that much pressure, as I think that Neeb is going to go for some proxy.
Oh, dude. Okay, actually, this could work because TY went for econ play. Neeb's going to go for a pretty lethal blow early on. And a lot of times, if you're doing a build like Neeb's, TY is actually doing the exact right build that might make this work out.
Probably just a doubles proxy Oracle, right? Or one target, obviously, and then make 2 Oracles, just try to do some economic damage. And
but with the placement of it, do you feel like he wants to do anything further than that, or is it just a proxy Oracle?
No, I think it's just going to be 2
Oracles.
Oracles.
It's just right out there. You don't think it's going to get just spotted?
No, because it's too obvious, and you don't rally your Marines here because you know there are
true.
rocks. It's like, who would ever scout there, Tasteless? If you know it's a dead-end street, do you still drive in it?
It's a good point, actually, because it is in such an obvious location. I guess people might not check there. That is true.
And it's still a new map as well.
We're still getting the hang of this just as casters as well.
No, I think it's just 2 Oracles, and he's obviously going to try to maybe make some Adepts as well, shade those Adepts into the natural. But the Marine count is actually going to be quite high. Just because TY went for CC first, that doesn't mean that he's going to have like, oh my god, like 4 units, because Neeb also expanded before he built the Stargate. So, it will come down to execution. Neeb has an opportunity to do some damage here. And obviously, he shouldn't lose the Oracles. But I don't think that TY is like going to die or something.
Yeah, it's very good that TY did go for 3 racks follow up with this. Because otherwise, he would not have the ground muscle here. But you can combat on some level what Neeb's trying to do. Stim is starting up here. Now, these Marines have not spotted the Stargate just yet.
If Neeb would have lost power on that pylon because the Adept lured those Marines into it, he would have been a very, very sad Protoss.
Okay, here comes that Oracle now.
If he gets the Marine, the Adept there too. That's way too many Marines. So Neeb eats a lot of shots, but he's going to go for the middle line instead. The turret ain't done yet, Tasteless.
No shields on this Oracle. He is getting a decent amount of kills. It looks like 3 right now, up to 4. As Neeb now heads northbound, but there could be an interception here. He's got to be very careful. Now the Adepts are coming in.
Yeah, but you don't want to send that Oracle in one more time. But the second Oracle is coming, though. And obviously TY right now is his awkward choice. Where do I position all of my Marines? I guess he's going to send them to the natural as the missile turret in the main should be done. Unless he made a mistake, but we see it's been finished up. So good defense by TY. But Neeb is up 11 workers.
Yeah, that's very true. Let's try one more time with the Adepts. He may actually try to shade up the ramp and have the Adepts and Oracles try to combo in some certain location, but I think if he commits to that could be a huge mistake. So as time passes, Neeb taking a 3rd base. We're waiting for TY to finish Stim. When you have Stim, then you're really able to engage more on the map, but of course if you have Stim and Medivacs, then you're really able to engage and actually retreat at the same time.
Yep, and of course TY wants to be a tiny bit careful with just running out right now, because if those Adepts and Oracles show up and you don't have the right amount of units to deal with it, things can get ugly very quick. So even though TY is down in workers, he did get a decent scout off there with his 1 lonely Marine on the other side of the map. I don't know what that SCV is doing. He's taking a little break.
Let's also watch and see with Neeb's Oracles, does he manage to tag the Medivacs? If you can tag the first set of Medivacs that come out into the game, they're going to be a lot more comfortable against anything that the Terran is trying to do. Because if you can monitor where the Terran's movements are, oh my god, this Marine's going to get up here. Look at this very, very slow, dramatic chase. He sees, well, some stuff.
Did he see the Twilight? That's kind of what I wonder about. Once again, we see Neeb opening up with Blink, which I find interesting. This time, TY is very, very high on the Marines. You got to be careful with those Oracles, Neeb.
Oh!
If he would have stimmed there, he would have at least got 1, if not both. I'm a little bit worried this time, Tasteless, because Neeb is going once again for Stalkers. Now, Stalkers have micro potential against Marines, but if Marines get +1 and they get Stim, there's a couple of Medivacs, the Marine count is going to be very, very high on the side of TY. I feel almost like the Neeb needs to do a great job in buying time. He does have Guardian Shield, which helps a lot. This is going to be hard to defend. He loses one Oracle, he loses both.
Oh my god. Things are off to a bad start. You have to keep those Oracles alive, or you can't properly monitor the movements of the Terran army. Now he's stimming forward here with these units, the only units remaining with the tag from the Oracle on there.
Oh god, this drop.
Oh well, okay, I guess he's just going to drop here because he sees now where the Oracles are coming from. So no more Oracles for the time being. The Stargate's now out of the game, and this is going to be an awkward, dark period in this game for Neeb. He has no easy way to tell what TY's movements are on the map, and for Neeb to last for the next few minutes here, he's going to have to really rely on his instinct.
No, absolutely right, Tasteless. That is the most dangerous thing right now for Neeb. If you would see his vision, he sees nothing. He doesn't have any vision at all. He's going to send out one adept, but he doesn't know where those medevacts are coming from. Is everything heading towards the main? You know, are we going to have split aggression? Is it going to be at the third base? Neeb just does not know because he lost the Oracles. The robotics facility only now finished up, so the first observer is out, but there is a very good chance that Neeb is going to be really far out of position to deal with these 4 medevacts. Scan goes down as well, and Neeb knows that something is coming. He just doesn't know where.
Regardless of whether he knows about this coming here or not, and he really does it until the last second, it's a lot of units. It's hard to have all the right units in the right place at the right time. In fact, every medevac basically will unload.
Widowmine does get a connection there as well. Overcharge buys a little bit of time. The other units coming in from the south side now. There's still one more mine available though for TY, but so far pretty well done by Neeb, I'd say.
He might end up blinking forward though, which could end up costing him a lot. And he's actually, taking some hits over there. By the way, the drop's not done yet.
No, you can't redrop though. The blink stalker count is so high. Now I feel that TY is going to end up losing at least one. Well, he's going to end up losing a few Marines instead.
Okay, you know what? Neeb handled that fine.
Very, very well.
You know, normally when you see that, and Protoss has no idea, no Oracles either, you sort of expect things to fall apart, but actually Neeb's done a really good job.
Wow.
Now getting down these medevacs. Great work there by Neeb.
Yeah, that's awesome. Getting 2 of these medevacs does end up losing a Stalker or 2. Massive warp in the third base as well. He's going to make sure he doesn't take too much damage.
Neeb is so good, I have to say.
Wow, how did he handle that so well after losing both Oracles, Tasteless?
We saw this a little bit better. We saw this a little bit similar to how SOS was playing against Neeb, where Neeb was so patient whenever SOS got in. Even though SOS seemed to have a better position, Neeb just kept it together, focused in, and eventually shut down the drop and ended up ahead. Yeah, I really can't blame TY for sending those 4 medevacs into the main. I would have probably done the same. You see 5 Stalkers, of course that's kind of scary, but he unloads 4 medevacs. It's just early on, you know, Neeb got the overcharge, a couple of shots from the mothership core, and the overcharge helps out so much already. Then he brought the additional units, and at the same time he was safe everywhere else. Phenomenal job by Neeb. It's so difficult to defend in locations like that after you lose the Oracles. Okay. We have a medevac down here in the bottom right side of our screen. He's going to try to do some Widowmine drops in a little bit. At the same time, TY is expanding at a very rapid rate, at least going to be able to match Neeb for the time being. Neeb does not have a lot of opportunities to move out until he gets his supply just a little bit higher and has a few more of those key, for instance, robo units like the Colossi out here. And of course, TY, a tactical genius, does have the option to try to counter drop anywhere on the map and punish his opponent. Tasteless, I've been on the road for a while, so I've not played many games on this map, but I did have a couple of very long, drawn-out Protoss versus Terran, and I realized that it's very hard to actually commit to an attack as Protoss, because there are so many ways to counterattack as a Terran, and you know what they always say, never base-rated Terran, so you don't want to do it. So even though Neeb has played fantastic, there is a good chance that this is going to be a long game of StarCraft. In some ways, the Terran, Protoss operates like a Zerg does. In this matchup, having to deflect everything Terran's throwing at him until eventually you can recuperate and pull it back together. Great Widowmine connects. 10 probes already killed. This isn't the only place that's under attack right now. That Liberator shutting down all workers. 2 Liberators, in fact, on the map. Yep. This is awesome damage, obviously, by TY. He's going to end up losing a couple of units, but he's completely okay with this because he just wants to buy time. He got that second starboard. He wants to get Liberator range, I assume. This mine is going to shoot one more time, and more probes are coming in. That could have been so much worse. 19 kills here. Protoss moving forward, but is this an overextension? Only 1 Colossi in the back. The arc here for Terran is looking good. But again, if the Colossi not picked off, the splash damage may be too much. Now microing the Colossi down into the bottom. It's finally been taken out, but with the remaining Immortals, he can drive back those Marauders. That was such an even fight. It's almost silly. And it was a very awkward fight as well, because both of them were waiting on so many upgrades, and there was still harassment. There was still harass going on as well, so I don't think that either player truly wanted to fight, but it's like, all right, we're in this situation, let's just roll with it. But if I was Neeb right now, I'd chill for a bit. You've been losing a bunch of probes.
resaturate everything, clean up the mines, get some observers, get some vision going, and get more Colossus. Because even though that one Colossus did a fantastic job, right now the composition of Neeb is not ideal. He's incredibly heavy on Stalkers and doesn't have much else.
I have got to say, look, Neeb has to keep defending, right?
Yeah.
The problem is TY does not have to stop attacking, and also TY can keep expanding. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Absolutely.
I feel like even if Neeb's hanging on, I think TY does have the ability to possibly just continuously get more ahead, and the game will be solved in that way rather than necessarily the fights itself.
But ultimate late game is not bad for Protoss, and we've seen Neeb, he's very good when it comes to Colossus, Storm, Sentries, and eventually Tempest as well. And I honestly believe that this is a game where we will see Tempest, because I don't think that TY can just bomb rush Neeb. I don't think you can just roll him over. At the same time, I don't believe that Neeb can ever just run across the map and truly force the fight. So I can see this becoming a Stargate game. There we do finally have my first Prism though, Tasteless, and I'm very happy to see that.
Yeah, me too. TY coming up now. No, TY has incorporated some ghosts into his army. As the tech gets more and more sophisticated. Liberators are constantly on the move here. A lot of this game has been TY slowly losing Neeb slowly losing workers throughout the game. Okay, here comes TY now, edging forward here.
Excellent blink though by Neeb. These Liberators still being annoying. It's almost a shame that Neeb lost its target early on, right? A Phoenix or two would have been very nice. Another big forward blink though. 2 Medivacs do get picked off. TY with a small overextension there perhaps. And now with the Prism as well. Maybe Neeb is going to go for it, Tasteless.
Yeah, I think Neeb's realized he's chased him far enough. Now might be the time to seize that moment. He's out of the middle of the map, but here might be an overextension going back down. He's bunched up in the corner. He needs to get the Colossi over here with the rest of this army, and the angling may be very good for Neeb, but the Vikings doing so much damage to this Colossi. The Colossi need to be microed forward, but they're already all eliminated. Archons here, they could do splash to the Vikings, but the ground army here for the Terran, also enough of a threat. I think Neeb just turns around.
Yeah, that was a bait, man. I mean, obviously Neeb was chasing and he was doing some serious work, but at one point TY's like, all right, let's do this. You know, I've got Liberators. I'm going to land a couple of EMPs, and the Colossus were just way too exposed on the north side of that battle, and TY turned them around very, very quickly. Well done. TY's playing great.
TY still maintaining his lead, not one that he can snowball just yet, but one that's the longer he maintains it, the more secure this game is for him. Neeb trying to reassemble his tech. We see Psystorm getting upgraded. He will have Templars up here. Templars, in a lot of ways with Stormer, are sort of the final component you need against a Terran. Now you might be wondering, what about the Ghost with the EMP or the Snipe? You can keep them in a War Prism. This is actually an old strategy that we saw a lot in Brood War in PvT there, where Vultures could shoot down High Templars. So it's the same idea, as you keep them inside the Warp Prism until you're ready to storm, drop them, and spam out storms immediately before the targeting can begin.
You know, one thing I truly feel that TY is a little late with is the Fusion Core. I want to see Liberator range. I think that would make so much sense. You're maxed out, you've got money, you've got 82 SCVs. Where's that Fusion Core? Liberator range is a fantastic upgrade. These Marauders are going to go for the Templar Archives, but they won't get it in time.
Storm is finished. A few storms now blanketing down. TY trying to disjoint these two bases here. There's a bit of a no man's land right in between. A few Zealot Warpins coming down to harass this base, but certainly not with the kind of momentum that TY has pressuring this expansion. It's a 130 Protoss to a 182 Terran. But it seems like Neeb, for the time being, might be able to drive this player out.
Yeah, that's actually kind of bizarre. TY's army is maxed out. This is obviously not his entire army, and he's going to end up losing a few units. But I don't know what happened to Neeb's supply. He's floating a little bit of money, and he did go for some harassment on the other side of the map. But that was scary. He was suddenly down 60, 70 supply. Zealots are going to run into Marines and Marauders here. Obviously, the Vikings are not that useful. And now suddenly the supplies are a lot closer. Neeb has turned this around. Don't forget, all these Vikings, Tasteless, they don't do much because there are no Colossus left.
That's a very good point. He may end up having to land them or try to use them as harass units later on. Now, the next base TY appears to be trying to acquire is this bottom center base. This is a location that it's a bit ambiguous who it's really supposed to go to. It's somewhat of a shared location, so that may be the point where Neeb can try to focus on and continue to mount pressure here. I actually thought the TY was going to expand to the upper left, but not so far, not yet.
9 High Templars suddenly. It's just hard for Neeb to attack because there's a lot of choke points on this map. It's a large map and there's many ways to counterattack with Medivacs and Prisms, but having a pure ground army, every single time his entire army feels like it's clumped up, and then EMPs can just rain down on this army. So that's why he's a little hesitant with committing to whatever he wants to do. They are getting, like you said, Tasteless, awkwardly close towards each other when it comes to new expanse.
Yeah.
They can wave at each other right now.
This is a map where you basically end up expanding around the edges, and the fighting area is somewhat of a no man's land. But to see Terran take this bottom base is interesting to me. Protoss has bases at the top, as does Terran, that are much more accessible. But he might actually try to lead the game to where he's rallying through that newest base at the bottom center, TY is, and trying to break the very, very bottom right.
Did I just completely miss Liberator range, or does he refuse to get it? Because I really feel he doesn't have it. He's even getting +2 ship weapons now.
Well, I mean, if you did miss it, I did too, because I didn't see it. But
and it doesn't
look like it, right?
No.
Normally you want to fork him out a little bit more, but there's been so much action going on in this game, you know?
Such a fantastic upgrade, especially on, I think, on this map as well. These Zealots do get on top of these Marauders. Good storm there by Neeb. Once again, there's still a lot of Vikings on the map for TY. They're not doing much. Big counterattack, Tasteless. It's getting crazy.
Great shutdown there on the pylon, stopping Neeb's warp. And Neeb is actually in some hot water for the time being. The army trying to come up here and stop this. Another Templar sniped down. In fact, okay, that one gets a storm off, but the units are still alive, and therefore the damage is still being dealt.
Man, Neeb is turning around as well. He's going to come back home. He lost Templar, guys. It's an expensive building to lose, but Neeb does have a little bit of money in the bank, so I don't think this game is going to end here. This is what I said earlier in this game as well, right? Every time you think it's safe to attack, you get counted, and you're like, oh my god, I got to turn around, because I really don't want to base trade a Terran, especially not if there are planetary fortresses on the map as well. Nukes are being researched, Tasteless.
It's happening! But Neeb has to stay in this game long enough for us to see them fired. Now,
oh, he will. He will.
Are nukes necessary? I don't know, but they're definitely intimidating. When you're already dominating this much in a game and your opponent starts to nuke you, this is something that can really put you on tilt and be very discouraging, especially assuming that you lose the second game as Neeb. Then you're down 0-2. You have to come back with 3 wins in a row.
But I still believe that Neeb has a very good shot in this game. I mean, why not? He's been close to maxed out. He lost the base, but that base was empty. He's got Storm. He's got a whole bunch of gateways. He's rebuilding Templar archives. I don't hate Neeb's position at all. I would be a little bit more worried if TY actually had, I know I sound like a broken record, but Liberator range, and he gets like 7 or 8 Liberators, because that's when it becomes very hard to win with the army that Neeb has. But TY ain't doing it, so I think Neeb is still very, very well in this game. Personal cloaking as well. Nukes are going to actually
Oh my god, he's
land.
going to go over here in the very back corner. Let's see if it actually gets spotted. It seems like Neeb may be a bit distracted at this point in time. I'm assuming Neeb plays within game sound zone. We got a nuke going out. Look out, run it in! Boom! Just barely missed the camera guy. Almost nuking the studio.
Hey, did you see the shadow? The shadow went across the screen. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh,
okay,
he's not pulling the workers.
And all the probes killed, 21, and the Ghost will still escape. Definitely a scary moment here for Neeb.
And this army from Neeb, I mean, what do you do right now if you're Neeb? Do you run into all those Liberators? More Ghosts are going to show up. Wow.
This is really scary here. We see the nuke is going to be coming across and connecting here. Now Neeb is fighting in the middle. He might be able to win this fight, which means the nukes connecting would be forgivable.
Oh my God.
Another huge blow. Neeb down to 27 probes to the 79 SCVs of TY.
He's going to try to win the game with the army that he currently has, because recovering from 27 workers is very hard. Army supply is very close. Once again, there's still a lot of Vikings that don't really do that much. The biggest problem is TY has bases all across the map. TY's got money in the bank as well. A few Liberators are misrallied. And these Ghosts, they ain't even done yet.
No, they are not. Not enough cannons here to spot everywhere. Another nuke is going off. Nukes hitting Neeb's base while Neeb's army is beginning to carve its way in to TY's main. But has TY mustered enough? I have to think he should have by now. Supplies are 117 to 148.
Yeah, there was no observer there, I believe. So these Ghosts can actually get very, very dangerous as well. A couple of EMPs land, Time Warp land. Neeb feels like it's almost now or never if the Storm would have connected with the Marines. Vikings have finally landed, which I think is very, very important. Look at the army supply, though. Neeb is still getting a bigger and bigger army. He's got an insane amount of Immortals. Can he somehow do it, Tasteless? I think the armies are clashing.
It's coming in right now. There's some good storms that could be set up. But right now, TY is pulling away at a brilliant rate, and that's going to be it. GG. TY takes game number 2.
Wow. What a sick game.
With nukes.
Yeah, so that was awesome.
With
Great
nukes.
game.
Wow.
Wow.
Guys, do not give up on Neeb yet. Neeb might be able to do what many of the Korean players did in the round of 16. Go down 0-2 and then come back with 3 wins.
Yeah, Hero did it just last week in the Intel Extreme Masters against TY as well. Back then it was the semifinals. This is, of course, the quarterfinals of GSL versus the World. Neeb is our last non-Korean remaining. Series have been very good so far, Tasteless. I hope we get to see at least one. Well, we definitely get one, but I meant 2 more. Preferably 3 more.
Yeah, what if we don't get 1 more? It's like, that was a best of 3, actually. We changed our mind.
Look, sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys.
We decided to wave the white flag.
Mean nothing. Okay, game number 3 is on Ascension to IR. Neeb needs to bring out the best PvT he's got, or he's going to be knocked out of our tournament.
I think that is a good map for Protoss, though, in general. It's a long map. It takes a long time for certain pushes to make their way across the map. It's a great map for War Prisms. And I think that Neeb has played very good so far in this series. I think similar to Stats. Stats went down 0-2 against Special, but he was playing well, so you still believe, right? If you're a fan of Stats, and he was on the verge, and he turned it around, and maybe this man can do it as well.
In the upper left, in the blue, from the US of A, he is
Ting Neeb.
And in the right bottom side of Ascension to IR, we are looking at one of the absolute best Terran players in the world. It is
Splice TY.
What a year TY has had so far, and won 2 major tournaments. WESG at the beginning of the year in China, and then also won the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships in Katowice. But Tasteless, you know what he hasn't done yet? Win a tournament in Korea this year.
That's right.
So he's about to do it.
Some future pro gamers here in the audience.
That's awesome.
I do wonder, is Neeb going to go for that quick blink again? We saw, well, that was in both games, right?
Yep.
He did that.
I think it's great. If you like it on Abyssal, I definitely think you should like it on Ascension to IR, because I feel like it makes more sense on this map.
It seems to try to exploit the fact that Terrans are very much so tempted to drop, and the fact that you could possibly just punish it outright by shutting that down. So let's see if he does go for that, and how much pressure TY can actually put on here. TY staying true to what TY has been as a tournament player. He's just somebody who knows how to push, how to engage. Everything is very thought out.
So methodical, right? Everything he does.
Yeah, it's not the same kind of...
It's not fancy, it's not flashy, but it's damn solid.
Yeah, when you look at every position on the map, you have to say, okay, that was definitely the right place to hit. It seems like this was the right time to attack in here. And you know, even for Neeb, it's tough to hold.
It seems like once again, Tasteless is going to go for that proxy Stargate, unless he would do something very weird. And it's going to be the Stargate again. Now, I don't hate this, and obviously I understand why you do it, because the Oracle shows up 5-6 seconds quicker, and that can often make the difference between getting 5 SCVs or not. But the one downside to proxying the Stargate, in my opinion, and we saw that on Mech Depot, having 1 or 2 Phoenixes would have been incredibly useful. I'm not saying like get 6 or 7 Phoenixes, I'm not saying play a different style, but just 1 Phoenix to chase down certain medevacs or chase down Liberators, I really think would make Neeb's life a little bit easier. But if he keeps losing the Stargate early on, you're not going to rebuild it just for a single Phoenix.
Well, you know, the Oracle started out as this pretty cool... Uh-oh, wait, hold on. Is this Reaper going to actually get in here?
He's going to get another probe.
Oh, this is not good.
Is that number 2? Yeah, that's bad. He's not even done yet, Tasteless.
Yeah, and he's actually done this so perfectly, TY has. The Adept is just never able to catch up. So we might even get 3 probe kills. Yeah. And
lost mining time.
Yep, that's going to be it. 3 probe kills there.
That's deadly.
So to what we were saying earlier, the fact of the matter is that the Oracle was initially viewed as a harass unit, but now we do see that the Oracle has a lot of importance throughout the entire game as you keep tagging that army. So yeah, having a Stargate out here, if you lose any of those Oracles early on, you're in hot water in that mid-game period.
The Marine count is a little low though. 3 Marines and a Cyclone, that's not necessarily enough. Obviously Neeb doesn't know if there's a Widow Mine or not, something that we know. I feel like there was potential for Neeb to do a lot of damage here. In the end, he just gets 2 SUVs. He's obviously not done yet. The Adepts are going to show up. TY went for 3 CCs during all of this, Tasteless, so he has a few less units to work with.
Okay, the Adepts come in here, try to gun down some SCVs back up. And we'll see if there's going to be any more regrouping. When we get back to the production tab, I'm curious to see if we're going to have just more mass gateways up here, or if Neeb wants to play more of a standard PvT where he keeps trying to tech up. Some Protosses, you know, they like to stay heavy on their tech.
If he would go for the main right now, I don't even think there's a missile turret there yet, unless I'm mistaken and I've completely missed it.
But TY is playing with fire here. He's just assuming that Neeb will be very, very careful. So there is a mine right on top of that CC. That is well done. There's a stasis now. Cyclone's getting forward, and I think they spotted it. So you could send maybe an SCV forward to trigger it if he wants to.
Okay, still waiting for the rest of the tech here from Neeb. For now, it's just the gateway that's finished up. He still has more units rallied here. Now these 3 oracles.
Yeah, he was starting Oracle number 4 as well. Good job there on the SCV triggering that stasis. Once again, the adepts. Don't forget about the Widow Mine on the north side of that orbital.
Some more stalkers coming in here. Is this just north of our screen here at the pylon?
No.
I think he's actually going to start
Yeah.
to really try to put some pressure on here. But he's also taking a third base, which tells me he's not committing to this. He's trying to intimidate the Terran.
Yeah, he wants it. Like, if there was no bunker, he could have done this for a long time, and he could have done a lot of damage because you can micro the stalkers against Cyclones and Marines. But there is a bunker. TY is once again doing everything right, and this is not me, you know, we're like, oh my god, he's so good. He's just doing things right, Tasteless. He's not making mistakes.
Yeah, that is the big thing, isn't it? Is that he just has that patience. He's willing to sit back.
He reads the game so well.
Yeah, he's definitely thinking everything through. I feel like we had to pull all the pro gamers out there. This guy might be able to articulate the best how this matchup works at certain points in the game.
And I mean, the Twilight and Double Force is going to go down, so I'm expecting a Blink Charge style this time. I mean, maybe we'll see Resonating Glaze, but I find Blink and Charge a little bit more likely on this map. I think it's very, very strong with double upgrades as well. But Neeb is going to have a very scary 3 minutes ahead of him. The moment that the first 2 medevacs come out for TY, the moment his Marine count gets close to, let's say, like 18 or 20, it's going to be damn hard for Neeb to battle with TY.
It really will be. We see great job there, just trying to delay that command center as much as possible. TY is ready, triggers that. The CC will land. Now, is TY going to actually push out that far, or is he just trying to come in
I'm not
and then
sure.
retreat back?
The thing is, though, like, obviously TY knows this matchup incredibly well. He also knows that if you build that many gateway units, if you open up with 3 oracles and you don't do crippling amounts of damage, the attack at home is going to be quite a bit delayed. So I don't think that TY is that worried about what Neeb has on the other side of the map.
That's true, and also 3 oracles doesn't help way more than 2 oracles. 2 oracles basically gets the job done. 3 means you're spending money, and therefore your tech is in some way slowed down a little bit.
Good scout here, though, by TY. Sends a single Marine forward. That Marine really wants to get the adept. Doesn't get it. Oh my god. What was that, a Widow Mine? I think it was.
I'm assuming so, yeah.
There's another mine. I think Widow Mines are so funny with the little binoculars in the front, you know, the
Yeah,
little
right.
flashlight. It's like,
okay, so TY backs up. Now that Stargate that's been proxied just outside of TY's base is still there. So we're waiting to see if he's actually going to come over there and stamp that out. He should have known that was there, right? Based off how early the Stargate actually got, or the Oracle, I should say, actually got there from the Stargate.
Absolutely tasteless. But 3 medevacs are heading towards the main of Neeb. Neeb is not totally in position. The pylons are not ready yet. The firepower of this army is going to be insane. And this is going to be very, very hard for Neeb to deal with. Because all he has is Blink almost. And just Stalkers alone are going to have a very hard time getting up this ramp.
And there's actually just 2 idle pylons over here. If he can actually come in here and manage to take this out, no more Citadel. The Stalkers cannot quite get up the ramp.
That is so massive. That means no charge. It's just what I mean. It's going to be Blink for a while. I think Neeb will clean this up eventually.
Okay.
But at what cost? He's losing so many units. Oh my god. It's a massacre.
Okay, Neeb's actually chasing this out pretty damn effectively. Takes out 2 of the medevacs. The other one was empty, but another attack over here at the 3rd base. Is Neeb ready on this side of the map?
He's got a couple of units. The biggest problem for Neeb right now is that he has no micro potential in his army. He doesn't have charge. He doesn't have any killing power. The only thing he can do is like micro defensively with Blink Stalkers. Good job there. Avoids one of these Widow Mine shots, but losing the Twilight is so massive. I can't emphasize enough on how important that snipe was for TY.
As you can see, TY beginning to group back up. It's 119 supply for TY, 122 for Neeb.
Yeah, but it's
This
just pure
Stargate's
Stalkers,
still there.
right? Like, the thing is, like, Stalkers are not protecting a Colossus now. They're not protecting a whole bunch of Immortals. They're not protecting High Templars. It's just Stalkers, and that means that the numbers are a little bit deceiving right now. Neeb is in a lot of trouble.
Neeb still on the back foot. Adept Glaives has started. Oh, good denial there. We just caught the tail end of that.
Well done.
So TY is not quite able to expand comfortably just yet. Neeb actually now taking a lead in supply for the short time period. And taking up to Colossi.
Yeah, it's going to take a little while, but he does have an Immortal out. He's going to go for Glaive, so obviously the combination of Adept, Stalkers, and Sentries, especially with Guardian Shield, it still can trade very well. The biggest problem is that Neeb knows it's still going to... It's going to be a long way to Colossus, and that is one thing that you have to be very, very worried about. But look at TY, he's also getting a second starport, Ghost Academy. So TY is not convinced he can just end the game here. He's already thinking about the next phase.
Okay, he's coming forward now. This is where both the Robos are. Getting these Robos would be huge. An attack now, though, from behind. I think a medevac retreat is going to be impossible.
Yeah, well done. I mean, Neeb is actually doing the right thing there. He gets all the medevacs. He gets the Marines and Marauders as well. That was actually very good for Neeb. Wow, okay, now I think that Neeb is completely back in this one.
I'm a little bit confused why TY was pushing out at that moment.
Yeah.
If Neeb's not doing anything, all TY has to do is mass up a little bit more.
Yep, and especially because, you know, TY had so many units at home and he also knew Blink was out. Maybe he felt that Neeb wouldn't remake as many Stalkers as he actually did. But Neeb did do that. There are 19 Stalkers on the map now. I'm not sure if Neeb wants to be that crazy guy that blinks into these two Liberators and tries to end the game. But we've seen crazier things in life, Tasteless.
Yes, we have. The Adepts are now shading forward. You can see the sensor towers gunned down. Neeb definitely wants to keep his opponent in the dark as much as possible. Two Adepts coming over here. I don't know if he can get the money blink in there to actually take out those Liberators. It's kind of hard to say. It also depends on how fast that Terran player stims the Marines.
But this is already nice, though. I mean, he gets a couple of depots. He got the Ghost Academy. You don't have to win the game here if you're Neeb. He already shaved off quite a few units. A couple of Observers still alive as well. It does make a forward blink there. Ends up losing 3 Stalkers very, very quickly. Gotta be careful, don't overstay your welcome. You've got 2 Colossus on the way, Neeb. You don't need to win the game here. With 2 Colossus in production, you don't need to make a crazy blink.
Also, that's been a sort of thematic thing that's been happening over and over in some of these games with Neeb, is where he starts to get ahead and he just keeps pushing.
Yeah, it happened on Mech
When
Depot.
he needs to pump the brakes.
For sure. I mean, Neeb, like, you survived the most scary part in this game. Does get a medevac there, well done, good micro. Here we have that first Colossus out. Did he get Thermal Lens already? I have the feeling, Tasteless.
Oh, I believe he did.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, then I completely... Oh, we saw the upgrade tab there very, very quickly, but I missed it. I'm not sure. I don't think there is Thermal Lens.
Oh,
No.
I might actually be
there
wrong.
is not.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm totally wrong here.
It's okay, Tasteless.
Oh, guys, Tasteless
Even
dropped the ball.
legends are wrong every now and then.
I'm just testing you, Roddy. This is all an elaborate
Did I pass the test?
Yes,
Am I welcome
you're
to come
doing
back?
very well.
Yes, can I come back?
You are now a casting Jedi. Okay,
Yes.
this is...
So proud of it. I'm going to tell my mom.
We'll do our trust fall after this, and then you're officially a legend caster. We have the Neeb coming down here and chasing this further. Now, we see TY has some defense up here. He's spackling EMPs there on top of the Stalkers.
Big run by
I think Neeb may look for an opening here by trying to shade forward somewhere else.
Yeah, just kill stuff, right? Look at the production tab. 3-3 is on the way, another Colossus is on the way. Don't forget, Neeb still does not have Thermal Lens.
Hey, this is pretty good. If he can get this command center, that's going to be very annoying for TY. Looks like it's just barely in the red, but now TY coming in. Colossi on the side. The arc here for Neeb is pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Even without Thermal Lens, he doesn't research it now, but Neeb wins.
Neeb takes that game.
Wow.
Beginning his comeback.
Awesome stuff there by Neeb. I was very, very worried about Neeb's situation. But then TY just decided to run across the map with 3 medevacs while having like 40 supply at home. He just dived into the natural, didn't kill anything, and Neeb was like, well, thank you. Let me just jump on these medevacs. He cleaned it up, and he brought it back. Very well done by the American Protoss.
America.
Stars and stripes.
I think a bald eagle just flew into the studio. You guys are going to have to take my word for it.
And they dropped fried chicken on top of it.
It dropped, yes, it dropped some hot dogs.
Bud Light.
Some Bud Light, that's right.
Some good old, some burgers.
Yes.
This
is the moment. If you're watching this stream, you need to give Neeb your energy, guys. He needs to win this game and the next.
Well, we already had 1 reverse kill today. Earlier today, Special was up 2-0 against one of the other last foreigners in this tournament. No, the other way around. Stats was down 0-2, and then he turned it around. Maybe this time our American hero can return the favor, but it's obviously not going to be easy.
It's time to teach you guys what freedom really is. In the bottom left, in the blue, he is
Ting Neeb.
And on the right top side of Acolyte, a map that is similar to Proxima, I've said it many times, our Korean Terran, it is
Splice TY.
I'm feeling Neeb here. Neeb waves in the studio.
Are you feeling it, Tasteless?
My Neebometer is on. Oh my God, we're at a 10 right now.
Already?
Yeah, you know how high this meter goes? A 9.
We can't peak too early, Tasteless. Doesn't it have to be a 10 in game 5?
Artos is just shaking his head so hard at me. He's like, "You are not funny, Tasteless."
Uh-oh, I think we're going to have a little bit
Oh,
of
hold up,
proxy
hold
here.
up.
Some proxy shenanigans, this time brought to us by TY. He's like, you know, you've proxied this target in 3 games now.
Yeah, now it's my turn.
Yes. And if I proxy, I go all the way.
But, you know, if this doesn't work and Neeb wins this game, that's going to be a little bit scary.
Oops,
you know, to go up from 2-0 to then start to fall down 0-2, you start to really regret and go over all those mistakes you had in your last game. Let's go ahead and see him begin that proxy over here. Now, note this is a quick proxy.
Yep, it's going to be a factory. No, he drops this.
I'm sorry. I actually thought, yeah, he was going to get the factory.
Well, he will
quickly.
I'm still expecting him to get the factory, and then I don't know what it's going to be. I don't think you build
just
cyclones if you build a CC, so it's probably just very fast mines. He's going to proxy the starport as well.
Yeah, just drop that in there.
Yep.
You know, sometimes if the Protoss goes for an Oracle while doing this, they end up not having
oh my
enough
God,
revelations.
Tasteless!
Uh-oh.
This is good stuff for Neeb as
Busted!
this group. He's going to find this factory
and
here.
he's going to get the SCV.
This ain't going to finish up.
Oh, canceled!
Well done. Very, very well done. Don't leave, though. They might rebuild it.
Yeah, those are the super mind games.
Yep. Would definitely happen on the NA server, but instead TY is going to drop the factory in his main. That means that this factory is going to be a lot later, which could potentially mean that maybe the Oracle can be a little more crazy, can just dive into a mineral line, expecting there not to be... What did you say? That was a very funny shade. You really want to kill the jellyfish.
Yeah, that's we're all still getting used to this map over here. Now there's another SCV hidden over here. Oh my God, okay, he does see it. Again, another unit that could have been used as scout. So far, Neeb has shut down everything entirely. And of course, when you have that factory canceled there, your overall momentum is taken away. You've lost a lot of tempo to your opponent as they need to get, of course, the factory and the starport after that factory up so that the rest of the tech can fall into place. So Neeb is in very, very good shape.
Yeah, Neeb is in general very good as well in avoiding mines. Now, I don't want to jinx it. He did obviously fly into a mine on Abyssal, but we've seen him in the past. If he knows where a mine is, he's so good in still picking off SCVs left and right. He's going to swing in over and over. You're always going to see that dotted line, but it will never connect. Neeb is an absolute master in controlling oracles. So he's got to feel very confident knowing that the Widowmine count is going to be low and hopefully a window of opportunity for these oracles to do some serious work.
So these adepts are now shading up here to get a read on what's going on back at Neeb's base. Seeing the Marines is enough of a count to have an idea of what, that there was not a bunch of additional barracks made immediately back at home. He needs to be a little bit careful here.
You know, that game that Neeb just won is the very
Whoa.
first time. He's going to let the adepts in, but the adepts are quite low on HP though. He's going to let it finish up. Yes, he will.
I'm not sure who's good and who's bad here at that point in time. That was really weird. He does manage to keep the Oracle in there.
There's one more mine here. There's one more mine here. Neeb knows it.
Okay.
Neeb's so good.
Oh my God!
What?
Oh!
What? Oh, he killed another SCV and he got in range of the mine. That was so confusing.
Yeah.
A fleet beacon takes us what on earth? Why is he getting a fleet beacon 4 minutes and 27 seconds into the game?
Well, this is not normal. He is taking a third base. I do fear that a very basic counterattack here from the Terran could be enough to punish him. Takes a little while for the fleet beacon to really kick in. We do have Phoenixes on the way here as well. Stim just now starting for TY.
Can we go carriers? It's not just for a mothership, I assume. Like, I don't think you can apply the same logic to PvP.
I might be crazy, but I think I heard him saying something about carriers.
Yeah, I mean,
backstage. But I'm not. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
No, I
have
would
no
love
idea.
to see it, but it's so early though. He's not that rich yet.
Yeah, well,
Carrier.
Carriers.
Wow.
Okay. Let's see if we're gonna learn something.
I mean, he's up 13 workers. Obviously, you're going to need more Stargates, getting +1 air weapons as well. Obviously, expecting him to go for a Graviton Catapult. Now, it's very, very, very important for TY that he scouts this. Right now, he has no idea. And you can't blame the man for not having any idea that his opponent is building a carrier 5 minutes into the game.
There is something to this because this is a map where you can get extra bases up and start to turtle up and try to tech up.
Wow.
Perhaps they don't check for this right away. You know, the more carriers you get, the more momentum you have. And especially with the Oracles tagging this army and monitoring wherever Terran is, if he gets enough carriers, maybe Terran really does have a hard time dealing with it.
Yeah, especially if they take an awful fight. Obviously, Marines with good upgrades can be decent against carriers. Eventually, you're going to need Storm as well, because Marines, Widowmines, and a couple of Vikings can make it very, very hard for straight-up carrier to actually be effective. But obviously, Neeb is not just going to build carriers. Maybe in the beginning. That Marine! Oh!
Whoa, he needs to stop this Marine now.
He scans. What does
wait. Does he see the fleet? Okay.
Yes, he sees everything. He sees
and
fleet
yeah,
beacon.
he sees second Stargate. So this is really bad right now.
Yep.
It's going to be an uphill struggle.
Oh, tasteless. This Mothership Core ain't done yet, and 7 Marines are flying. Maybe it's going to finish in time, but it's going to take a while. 15 seconds. Neeb needs to overcharge here. It's going to be a little bit too late.
Here we go. Unloading right over here. The carriers are coming out, but of course there's not quite enough. In fact, on some level, the Marines can combat the interceptors themselves.
Yep, and that is exactly what's happening. But now the Mothership Core does finish up into a Mothership. Overcharge pushes his army away. This game is nuts right now.
I know. Well, I just did not expect in this game to have this kind of a carrier tech. I mean, carriers can be great units, guys, but normally you have to get so many other techs up in order to actually be able to utilize them. This is looking like a cheesy PvT in Brood War right now.
This is looking like one of these YouTube tutorials. How to make carriers work in PvT. And you get like 9 cannons, you know. It's like, this is not realistic. Well, Neeb feels it is. Obviously, he feels like he needs the carriers or the cannons to survive, because 1 or 2 carriers is not fantastic. Getting more is actually quite good. A triple mine drop here could actually be quite devastating.
I don't
He's
believe
not
it's in
pulling.
range of the mines.
Oh my God.
Wow. He actually gets in there. Not a single Phoenix can pick up. That's a huge amount of damage there on the economy.
A nuke already? Is he just going to nuke all these cannons?
I almost feel like TY is saying, okay, you want to have fun?
Yeah.
You want to play around?
What is this? He scans. He's like, okay, 8 cannons. You know what kills 8 cannons? A nuclear missile.
This is such an odd game that we have here. It's taken such a strange turn here, now getting shields.
I'd love to see a hidden base, like in the right bottom side or in the left top side.
Well, you know, like, this is, I kid you not, since StarCraft Remastered is out, this is worthy to talk about, but people did rush for carriers against Terran, but that was because you had to mech.
So he's going to, sorry to interrupt you there, Tasteless, but
No,
he's going to push with missile turrets. I think he's going to get multiple turrets up here, which is going to make it harder and harder for these carriers to get close to all the Marines. There you have it. Missile turrets are fantastic. And then obviously with the nuke he can take care. But Neeb doesn't want to let these missile turrets finish up. Can he get a cancel on all of them?
Completely shutting this out. Like he's had bug spray on those interceptors. They just leave. Nuke's coming out. I don't think Neeb has an answer. And this is going to be pretty painful. The nuke is going to be able to take out the primary defenses, leaving this base exposed.
A lot of these cannons are going to fall. A couple of them do survive. They're still overcharged though. Marines coming forward. Good force fields though by Neeb. How high is the interceptor count? It's not incredibly high. Neeb needs to buy more time. He needs +2 air weapons, which he has right now. And above all, he needs more carriers, Tasteless.
Yeah, he certainly needs a lot more carriers, but at the rate that turrets can come out in this game, and the fact that the interceptors all have to be remade before he can have a full-on engage, I just don't think he has the time, Roddy.
Well, it's getting very close. I kind of believe he might lose a few pylons here, but overcharge is good in buying time. You got to be careful, though. You can't do this. I would like to see the carriers come in from the left side and actually kill a couple of these missile turrets when the Marines are out of position. That's what I would love to see. 2 more carries on the way. Feedback was used. I think he canceled the nuke with feedback.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he did. No nuke for now, but are there Marines and the turrets going to be enough? You see these interceptors coming out and just getting shredded.
I like this for Neeb though, Tasteless. I really do. There is an arc on there. There's a few more cannons. The missile turrets are pretty far back. Neeb just needs to buy a little bit more time, but I think he can do it.
Yeah, maybe with these adepts on the ground here, you know, you have to have the right combination of units to dish out the damage.
Storm is, look at how confident he is. He's getting Storm.
You know, if he hangs on, the thing I'm worried about is if a few more Marines come up here, and you can see, like, for instance, a moment like that where he guns down the interceptors, that's the reset button on the carrier fleet.
Yeah, but Neeb is ahead in supply for the first time in quite some time in this game. I'd love to see him actually max out on interceptors and then just go for it, because I think he can murder this army. He can destroy these missile turrets, and TY knows it as well, and upgrade Tasteless are a very, very big deal.
I don't know about you, Roddy, but this is the first game I've ever casted like this ever.
Yes, this is insane.
In all of StarCraft 2, we're learning this with you guys here. We do not have all the answers. Essentially, TY has got a hard contain here outside of Neeb's expansion. The main threat is the carriers, but the turrets make it a very difficult. Great feedback there on the Ghost.
Oh no, I think he EMP'd his own Ghost because he wants to land. He wants to land a nuke and he wants to make sure it doesn't get feedback.
You're so smart.
No, TY is so smart.
That's right.
I'm just
TY
witnessing.
is so smart. You're just perceptive. This is crazy. Yeah, because the nukes are one of the things that make it a lot more difficult to, actually engage in and come out and get on top of that.
Now the carrier count is high though. The interceptor count is quite high as well, and the missile turret count ain't all that high anymore. I think we're gonna see TY maybe try to land one more nuke, but I think it's time for the Terran to head back. Tasteless. Storm is done.
Yeah, with Storm out here, I just don't know if he can actually combat this. And TY took a late 4th base. Neeb is getting close to maxing out. He's exactly where he wants to be. The 4th and 5th for TY that are out here on the extremities of his base.
Wow.
He actually could get that pushed away.
I think he's doing it,
I think Neeb's actually done the impossible here. I don't understand this game anymore.
Look at TY, he's going for a mass expand. He's dropping extra starports, 3 starports, and now he's getting a fusion core as well. There is a chance that maybe, just maybe, TY is like, you want to make carriers? I'm going to make battle cruisers. BCs are the sickest unit in the game. The problem is, Terran almost never, ever has enough time to get like 5, 6, 7, 8 BCs off. But if TY can somehow get up to like 7 or 8 battle cruisers, I honestly think that's almost unkillable. There is not much that a Protoss can do. And if you say Tempest, no, they will just Yamato and teleport out over and over and over again.
I suppose that's true, but the question is, can he do that in time? Neeb basically has finished what he was trying to get to, right?
Yeah. No, if I was Neeb, I start attacking soon.
I start pushing right away.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Neeb is loving it. BC Tasteless!
Oh my God, this is so cool. Roddy, it's happening again, and it happened, yesterday. We always said we end up getting the best matches whenever we end up casting together.
Yeah, well, we
get lucky.
We're fortunate this one.
Yes.
It looked a little ugly. I was very worried on Ascension to Aya that we were actually casting a trio, but Neeb has turned this around. I would love for Neeb to actually spot this, though, because...
Yeah, well, he has to go fast here. I mean, he can't wait it out. Terran is assembling an answer to this.
Yep, 3-4 BCs, that's not a problem. Neeb can absolutely fight this. But don't just let him cycle out units and suddenly surprise you with 8, 9, or 10 battle cruisers, because then it is a completely different ballgame. TY knows that he needs time. Neeb is probably wondering, like, this is not everything you have. I know for a fact that this ain't everything you have. You must be doing something else. TY is going to try to do whatever he can to buy time for his BCs.
As you can see, the push is commencing. Protoss Army headed northbound for the time being. It seems like TY is itching for a drop, but he's also aware that he might be fairly vulnerable over here. Battlecruiser still trying to assemble. Great job here by Neeb, just starting to clean this up. And he actually teleports back, but I feel like that's what TY wanted.
That is absolutely what TY wanted. TY just saw that recon, he's like, yes, baby. Do that like maybe 1 or 2 more time. Because this is an army. TY can fight it. TY had way too many workers. 89. He tried to break Nathaniel's record of nation-wise, but didn't just get there. Got close, though.
So, we have Neeb trying to push up here through the right. TY is going to have a hard time expanding any further since Neeb can come out here and just smash those expansions. But, to what Rotterdam was saying, the real story here is obviously, besides the carriers themselves being a part of this game, is the fact that TY has completely switched tech and is now going for this crazy amount of battle cruisers. And we're basically in a fight that we just don't normally get to ever cast in a professional match.
I don't think the BC count is high enough yet. He's getting there. What's really funny is that TY just sacrificed a bunch of workers because he had too money. And then he's still building workers. He's just so built into his system. He's like, build SCV, build SCV. Yeah, they're coming forward. I guess he wants to reveal it. He's going to land a couple of these Yamatos.
Here we go. Yamato's coming down. Some of these carriers are taken out, forcing some of this army on the run. But at the same time,
teleports out.
Teleport.
Neeb needs to go, in my opinion. Don't give him time for more. Neeb, obviously, I'm sure he has played against this once. You need to get on top of the production, because if the BC count goes up to like 12, I honestly believe TY wins, but Neeb is getting on top of the starports, and this is what he needs, Tasteless.
Okay, so more cannons going down here and more carriers being added in. I think you're 100% right, Roddy. If he can get on top of production, he can whittle down these battlecruisers one by one, but there's enough battlecruisers out here that he might be able to take this on for the time being. He might want to send some of his Templars down there, try to get some feedbacks or some storms off here.
Yeah, I think he was trying to land a couple of storms. Here come those BCs.
That's
quite a few battle cruisers, though, Tasteless.
All right, he's storming down now. Some damage is being dished out. Carriers slowly being picked off one by one.
These storms are doing a lot of damage, and the upgrades are obviously quite a bit better for the carrier, so he needs more Yamatos, but I don't think he has the time for it. More scans go down, but I think that Neeb is gonna recall out for now.
But he got the Stargates, right?
He did a lot of damage. He took a commanding army supply advantage.
GG. Nicely done there by Neeb.
Wow.
Okay, that was a game. I don't know when we're going to have another game like that. That was... took me over 7 years of casting StarCraft 2 to finally see a game like that.
So sick. I loved it. I love the missile turret push. I love the nuke. But I loved it. The very first feedback, I think, was just fantastic. And Neeb knew that all he needed was just a little more time. 2 carriers is obviously not powerful. 3 gets better. 4 or 5 maxed out on interceptors.
Yeah.
All right, let's dance. And he got the job done.
Such a strange game. I'm not sure how many times TY's encountered that. I think the idea of what TY was trying to do was smart, but then you can see Neeb just knew how to play from there on out, knew how to get those Templars like you were mentioning, and eventually, even though I think TY's battle cruiser response was not a bad idea, it also was not enough in time.
I think it's the best thing he could have done. He was just too far behind. Now, Tasteless, I am sure that through TY's mind and through everybody that loves TY out there, they're all thinking, not again. Like, TY has been up 2-0 in best of 5s quite often throughout this year.
Yep.
And somehow ended up losing. It happened last week. It happened in the GSL round of 8. And right now he was up 2-0. And suddenly we are heading into game 5.
The little mini curse that's happened to TY a couple times here. Let's take note of that. Neeb can definitely come back with the 3rd game. The map is going to be Newkirk Precinct. I do not think we're going to have
another carrier PC game. No.
Throughout the rest of this tournament.
No.
But I'm open to it. I'm open to that experience. We just have to wait and see.
If Neeb wins here and he advances, he plays against one of the Zergs, we might see some carriers in PvZ, but that's not weird. But are we gonna?
We're talking about Neeb TY here.
Yeah.
You know, Neeb did do some proxy Stargates, by the way, up here. Also, bear in mind that last game, TY did do a proxy factory that was completely shut down. I don't know if that's what triggered Neeb to then go for the carriers. I really would like to ask him about this later on.
It's possible, Faceless. It's very hard for us to obviously make that call here. But maybe he just feels that on that map, the 3 bases are so easy that he's like, no, this is a great build. I think I can pull this off. It was awesome for us. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it at home. Make sure to keep the tweets coming. Hashtag GSL versus the world, Tasteless.
In the bottom right, in the blue, can he do it? Our protoss player, he is.
Team Neeb.
Impressive. So similar to what we saw earlier today between stats and special. Protoss down 0-2. Protoss in a lot of trouble in game 3, but Protoss turning it around. Can he close it out though against this man representing Splice?
Splice TY.
It's TY. Passion levels are high in the studio today, Tasteless.
I know. We've had some crazy games so far in this tournament. We're not slowing down. First probe is sent out here. On a map like this, the games could be really short or really quick. It's just hard to say. Depends a lot on what the players want to do. How much they want to rely on timings.
Would you think that TY wants to take a lot of risk here? I don't think so.
I don't think so at all.
No, I think he's going to play it very... the Neeb to believe.
I agree.
He doesn't believe. He's like, who's believe?
These guys, those other guys might not be believers, but I don't know. This is so crazy. Neeb, the last non-Korean left in the GSL versus the world. If he wins here, he goes on to the Final Four, but he's against TY. TY, a player who's been a professional gamer since the age of 11, or at least that was his first televised match at 11. He was probably grinding with pros before even that.
He was like 7. He didn't say that yet, but he was
already
playing StarCraft. What is his first word? It's like, I don't get it. It's Dragoon. Like, we raised our baby well, but he only keeps talking about Dragoons and Marines.
You know, I got to say as well, thank you for the sign, brother. I got to say as well, with Neeb, even though TY is sort of, if we had to like make the perfect setup to make the perfect pro gamer, somebody who's been grinding since a young age and playing on TV since a young age, Neeb seems to overcome all odds. It just has this mega genius understanding of how StarCraft 2 works. And he reminds me just a little bit of SOS. Remember, SOS always seemed to play a little bit off from how everybody else is playing, but it would work, right? He knew how to prep for a best of 5. Neeb is actually very similar to that for me.
Yeah, I can see it. Neeb is just a pretty damn complete protoss, right? Because he doesn't have to be word. He can play the most standard meta. Neeb is one of these players that can almost tell you what he's going to do. And unless you're clearly better than him, you're still going to have a very, very hard time in dealing with it. Now, what I think is cool as well, Tasteless, about this going to Game 5 is that both of these guys has had a fantastic 2017 so far. Neeb won 2 tournaments, WCS, not Valencia, WCS Jönköping and WCS Austin. And obviously TY earlier this year won the IGAM World Championships in Katowice and also WESG. Now TY made a little more money of his 2 victories, but I think it's just awesome to see 2 guys that have both been very, very successful this year push each other to Game 5 here.
We have some gates coming down now. The Oracle is nearly out. Again, we do want to watch and see if anything connects to the Widow Mine. This part of the game, that's probably the most important thing to keep your eyes peeled for. Marines gathered up in between the natural and the main. Looks like they're ready to preempt the Oracle, excuse me.
Is there a mine burrowed somewhere already?
There's one mine that's out. We got to see where he's going to put it, though.
Oracle's going to fly forward. Wow, TY already picking up a bunch of Marines. He has no fear at all. I think that Neeb might actually spot that mine. He sees that the main base is quite empty. Now I wonder if Neeb is aware. Neeb likes to delay his mothership core, by the way. I don't think he has one yet, Tasteless. If those Marines show up, this can actually get pretty hard to deal with.
You're absolutely right. When the Oracle initially had to leave, he's going to come in here and drop, and you can see immediately with a bunker. He's bunker rushing inside the base in the middle of the game. Now, here comes the Oracle, but it's not very many units. Adepts coming down. I'm not even sure if this is supposed to work or not.
Alright, I think TY is quite happy with how this is going. He's going to pick up his units there as well. One Marine does get dropped on the high ground. TY could maybe micro a little bit more. Phoenix is still chasing, but he's going to unload the Marines one more time.
He's trying to gun down that Phoenix. And he does get it, but Neeb cleans house.
Yeah, but
completely slamming that strategy from TY.
I mean, he lost 5 probes though, Tasteless, and that is a big deal because losing 5 probes means that the additional tag for Neeb is going to be a little bit delayed. So.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I was just thinking the loss of the medevac and the Marines there, but you do make a good point. It's just such a weird strategy to even use at this phase of the game.
Yeah, it was all right for TY. I don't think TY is devastated by how that went. I actually think he's quite content. Now, obviously, he does have to worry about the counterattack because losing those Marines and the medevac does mean that he's working with slightly fewer units for now.
When you have enough adepts, they just start to destroy the Marines. You need to have some medevacs here. Let's see how this initial attack goes. He's going to shade forward. This is a kind of a scary number to see here.
But does Neeb really want to sacrifice all these adepts? It seems like he's going to go for it, but surprise, there's a Cyclone in the mix as well. I love that lift.
Yeah, I think the Cyclone not being there right away caused some huge problems, and I think that was kind of a throw there for Neeb. No real need for him to try to do that. Even the way he shaded back in, he's still going to lose some of these adepts. There's no reason to do that.
Yeah. So now Neeb gets 6 SCV kills, but loses a bunch of units. So he does have a 12 worker advantage, which I would think is safe to say is a few more than Protoss normally has, more than the Terran. But on the other end, TY does have his 30C about to finish up. And already Stim on the way. An additional attack for Neeb is a tiny bit late. It's pretty even, Tasteless. I think it's all right for Neeb because of the worker advantage, but he has to be careful.
Okay, the Phoenixes are coming in here again. I've seen a little bit of Phoenix Adept for the time being. And remember, with Phoenix Adept, you want to be careful to not overextend.
I love
oh, great job there. He's going to take out possibly the Viking at least. No, he's not going to take anything out.
Well done.
Don't listen to my play-by-play, guys. He actually, I thought he was going to get rid of all that, but just barely.
I just love it by both players there. They both made a couple of very cute moves in just a few split seconds. Just shows how good these guys are.
Okay, Phoenix is coming back. Remember, you don't want to overextend as Terran. There's a lot of games when you're against a good amount of Phoenixes and Adepts where you can end up getting overwhelmed.
That is a lot of gateways on the production tab for Neeb. This is not a game where he wants to rush into Colossus. This is a game where Neeb wants to make Phoenixes and Adepts, and he wants to straight up kill TY.
Well, you can see how he can get abusive here, right?
Oh,
my
that's
God,
so massive. That is massive.
He wants to try to pick up units that are rallying out of the barracks, keeping Terran busy back at home, and then he wants to start his massive amount of warpins over here. But you know, if TY can get up there in time, I mean, these gateways are not done yet.
TY, there's a good chance that he can do a little bit of damage. He's going to unpower this. This is very, 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 very big for TY. Maybe the Phoenixes are going to try to pick off that Cyclone. I must say, Neeb is doing a fantastic job in picking up an insane amount of rallied units. But this push, this attack that he wanted to make, whoa, these medevacs, Tasteless, that is very big.
You can see he's already hitting these medevacs enough. Now we have the Widowmine taken out. TY continue to try to put this pressure on here. I believe that pylon did finish warping in up at the very, very top. No, I'm sorry. The Cyclone actually took that out.
And Cyclones are very gnarly units against buildings, especially if they're exposed.
He's trying to get a Robo out now.
Yeah, because Neeb realized that it got scouted. Neeb didn't want that attack to be scouted. He wanted to surprise TY, you know, pretending this was going to be another macro game, and then suddenly just shove in like 30, 40 adepts. But that was not going to work. Now, Neeb still might try it, but it's going to hit a lot later than he wanted it to hit.
Yeah, and timing is really everything when you do a strategy like this. You want to get in there right when they're trying to transition or develop that next form of tech. Now, you know, with the Warp Prism, you can still try to do it, but you can see the army is pretty sizable right now here for TY.
And I love those missile turrets. That just makes it a lot harder for these Phoenixes to show up. You don't want to put your Phoenixes above missile turrets, but if it's just adepts, they will get wrecked by Marines and a couple of mines there that are being healed as well. Now a Ghost is already being added. I love that because EMP really does help tremendously against all these adepts. Oh my god, Tasted, it's so close. Game 5, I have no idea.
You know, it's funny. TY is, oh my god, he's got to be careful.
Well.
Yep, it connects. You got to be careful. As Terran, all you got to do is turtle for a long time. And it looks like this may be the moment Neeb decides to initiate. Will he do it?
He got right on top of the Marines, but there are Widow Mines, there are missile turrets as well. I'm not sure about this one.
The Phoenixes come in, but cannot comfortably pick up. Meanwhile, a Warp in the main, but did he lose the Warp Prism?
Yeah, he does lose the Prism. He is killing a lot of SCVs though, but at the same time, Neeb is also losing an insane amount of adepts. He's gonna let the Shade finish up just a couple. So 22 SCVs is great, but if there's one thing that TY always has, it is a stupid amount of SCVs. You kill 24, he's still got 50.
He might try to continue on with these Warp-ins here. I don't think we're going to have another Warp Prism out just yet. Actually, is there a proxy pilot anywhere?
I know.
I don't think there is.
So he killed 26 SCVs. Oh, that Ghost survives as well. It might fuel more, might go down, but Tasteless, I don't think it's good enough. I think that Neeb is losing too many real units here, and I'm not sure if he has an answer against the army of TY that's going to run across the map soon.
I think you're making a very real point, Rotterdam. That was a lot of units that Neeb had to throw into his opponent, and just because he did damage, especially to the SCVs, doesn't mean he's ready to take damage from the counter-attacking Terran army from TY.
And here we go, couple of Ghosts in the mix as well, Medevacs in the mix. No, Neeb, you need those units at home, and he does send them home. I mean, maybe an overcharge with a depth, a Guardian Shield, you never know, but Neeb needs a miraculous hold here.
Okay, we have TY closing in. Neeb needs to hang on or he's going to be out of this tournament. Phoenixes fly in, no turrets here just yet to try to deflect them, but the Marines do have stim and enough targeting can easily wipe out those Phoenixes in a matter of seconds.
He's going to try to fight here, good overcharge. Actually gets the Ghost, gets a couple of Marauders, that's a decent start, but these Widow Mines get big connections.
Huge plays there, starting to whittle down that army, especially with that splash. The turrets are almost up, and I just don't know if this is going to be slowed down. It's not the first turret push we've seen, but the circumstances are quite different. This is going to be against a much beefier Protoss ground army instead of the carriers we saw in the last game.
This is a beautiful position for TY. There is so much firepower in his army, and Neeb is taking kind of a bad fight here, but there's nothing he can do. The positioning is too good from TY.
You can see he's continuing to push in here. This base is about to fall. The tech not that developed right now for Neeb. Neeb committed to a big attack with adepts, but TY was able to slow it down enough where it couldn't get in at the window of time it needed to get in order to shut this game down.
Neeb trying to buy a little bit of time for his +2 armor, still hoping for a miracle. With Widow Mines, it's friendly fire, anything is possible. He's going to shade some adepts, he's going to try to do counter damage. Don't forget that the fort base of TY is late as well. I like this decision by Neeb. Don't take the worst fight ever, sacrifice the fort base. Does that hurt? Yes. Is it painful? Absolutely. Is it better than losing the game? Hell yeah.
Okay, the adepts come up again. Definitely Neeb in a very tricky spot right now. I don't think a lot of these adepts should be able to escape that easily. Neeb is trying to expand again here at the upper right.
He still got a whole bunch of Marines though, so it wasn't for nothing. TY is chasing, he wants to get these adepts. Well done, man. Neeb is playing so good too. The mines are gonna run back as well. Neeb is staying alive. Is he in trouble? Maybe a little bit, but he's still alive, Tasteless.
Yeah, he's not out of this game yet. We've seen some crazy seesaw games happen before. I mean, the game we saw with Neeb contained with those turrets in the last one, and then actually finally coming back was pretty insane.
That was so well done.
But TY is definitely somebody who knows how to keep his lead. You very rarely see seesaw games, these yo-yo games from TY. But I still got my fingers crossed here for Neeb.
Damn, I'm so impressed by Neeb. Like I said, he needs a miraculous hold. In my opinion, that was a miraculous hold. Very, very well done. Good lifts. I thought the positioning was troublesome at one point, but he sacrificed the Nexus. The counterattack bought him time, and suddenly Neeb's army is a tiny bit bigger than the army of TY. Now, I don't think it's a better army, even though he does have +1 armor advantage. You know, Neeb is still very well in this game. Oh, that's unbelievable, Tastes. I'm so impressed. It's very well done.
Yeah, it really is. Neeb continuing his tech path. He's playing it very safe. TY may try to increment out a few more expansions. We see this one over here. Definitely cannot afford to overcommit here. Now, a lot of this is not really engineered to make a lot of damage on the map. It is there to try to scout and figure out what on earth is going on. Oh wow, I'm sorry, I stand corrected. Was that an overextension, though?
I don't think that was on purpose, actually. I mean, there are not that many units there, but at the same time, Neeb has to be very careful. Drops a couple of force fields. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or not. I mean, you might get a couple of SCVs, but almost all of these adepts are going to go down. The Liberator is killing probes as well on the other side of the map. I don't think you were wrong there, Tases. I don't think that was on purpose, but what do I know? Disruptors. Wow.
Disruptors, that's a cool unit pick here.
That we haven't seen yet this series. We just see it all. Why not?
Yeah, let's get every unit in the game in here. You know, with the Disruptors, you have to keep in mind both players, you know, there's basically these 3 expansions in the middle on either side that both players can try to take, and Disruptors can allow you to try to have some fights between that area that they both are fighting over. That was kind of funny. The 2 force fields there.
If you have to go, at least go with the comfort of some force fields on your
That's
side.
That's right.
It's like, oh, that actually
We
felt
stand
quite
with
good.
you. Marine Marauder drop over here. Stalkers continue to be warped in to try to shut down wherever the drops may be happening at.
Good EMP there by TY. Quite a bit of firepower. Disruptors are about to show up though. Is TY paying attention? Yes, he is. Neeb shooting both. Neeb is losing quite a few units now though, and TY's army is growing bigger and bigger as those 2-2 upgrades have finished up as well for these bio units. And look at that one Marauder being an absolute champ.
Neeb still behind in supply. Well, as I said, that he bounces up to 133. He was a little bit below 110. But I don't know if he has enough everywhere in the right spot. This Terran army is a little bit more agile than what Protoss has, and you can see with this fight right here, Terran gets to fight units in somewhat of a kind of a line that comes out from Protoss. The Disruptors are the only thing that's keeping Protoss from being run over entirely, and the targeting is too good here for TY.
Wow, 2 Disruptors go down for almost nothing. These Stalkers having a very hard time as well dealing with these Marauders. The last Disruptor gets picked off. TY is playing fantastic. Revelation being used there for Neeb. Once again, Tasteless, he's in a lot of trouble, but never count these American Protoss out.
Okay, more force fields come down. Is he going to be able to stim and get that in time? No. The one Disruptor does still remain a threat. We see the Stalkers trying to get this last Liberator, but not able to get over there just in time. It does seem like Neeb is somewhat stabilized here, though.
Yeah.
I think on a level, it seems like TY's overextended.
Well, TY picked up a lot of units, and one matter of fact did go down. I don't know if that was the one with units inside of it. And again, like these holds from Neeb are out of this world. Now, I don't think he's winning this game. Oh, that matter of fact survived, by the way. Now I see it. Like, I think he's still in trouble, Tasteless, but God, Neeb is playing really, really, really good. And obviously, so is TY.
Yeah, I mean, if Neeb survives, there's also this awkward position we can get into where Terran runs out of minerals on the map before Protoss does, because Protoss got all of his expansions up later, and generally if the game went like that, that means Terran hemorrhaged a lot of units and therefore didn't get his investments out properly.
The problem is there's still that top base, right, for TY, and technically there's one on the bottom side. Disruptor shot does get a good connection. Another one coming in from the right side. These Marauders, they are so damn powerful. It seems like TY is a little bit afraid of some of these Disruptors as he keeps picking up all of his units. Neeb, you're down 25 army supply. You're not supposed to be the one pushing right now.
Well, he's going to go for it anyways. Let's see if he can't get some money Disruptor shots up. Oracle's coming in, but they have to stay back because if they get under that turret, they're going to be gunned down immediately, as we've already just seen here.
Why is he being so aggressive, Tasteless? Why, like, Neeb, you bought time for yourself. Just chill. Like, try to macro up a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering as well, is you just try to stabilize here. Don't have this ragtag army come out here and try to juke and jive around a guy who's just streamlining out Marines, Marauders, Liberators, and Medivacs.
Maybe Neeb feels that he's too far behind,
GG.
and I guess that's what it is. TY does end up winning this series. This time tasteless, no reverse all kill. This time TY